Hey everyone, we're back. Books and More 1818 with another fabulous guest. We're here today with, and welcome to the show, and show us your book, How Did I Get Here So Fast by Charles Vanyo. Look at that cover.
All right.
What a, what a
Yeah.
title and what a cover. Can you tell
All
us
right.
about that cover?
Yeah, I'll tell you about the cover.
Yes.
Um, How Did I Get Here So Fast is a memoir of my of me growing up in the 60s and 70s. And you can see it's an autumn scene where someone is walking down a path, who knows where. It might be who knows what path it is. Anyway, in the upper right-hand corner of the book is a little satellite called the Sputnik. And I don't know if any of our younger viewers know what Sputnik was. It was the first artificial satellite to orbit the Earth back in 1957. And my friend Alan, whom the book is about, used to tell stories about him sitting on his back stoop in Caldwell, New Jersey, on a night in October, being able to watch Sputnik fly overhead. So that's the Sputnik.
Wow.
The other thing there is a little monster flying in the air, and who there are two characters who sort of hover in the book, and one is a flying monster called La Cacagna, and the other is a flying monster called Rodan, and they figure prominently in the book, and that's the flying monster watching this unwary, unwitting traveler walking down the road. So that's what the cover's all about.
Fantastic,
Yeah.
fantastic. What are the reasons behind your literary endeavors?
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. The reasons behind this book here, I turned 70 2 years ago, and I still have a hard time wrapping my head around that. Like anyone who has reached a significant birthday milestone, you sort of kick back and say, how did I get here so fast? Where did the years go? You
Yes,
know?
yes.
Chronologically, I'm 72. Mentally, I can be 25, I can be 17, I can be 10. It depends upon the situation. And it was time to sit down and kind of ask myself, how did I get here so fast? What paths did I take? What paths did I not take? What decisions did I make? What decisions did I not make? And that was the impetus for writing this book. Now, I've always thought of myself as a good storyteller. When I was younger, I had the idea that I wanted to write the great memoir of youth. I wanted to be Jack Kerouac. If not Kerouac, John Knowles might have sufficed. Well, that didn't work out, and I had to modify my ambitions after that. I still think I'm a good storyteller, and I just wanted to share my stories growing up with people out there who might be familiar with where I came from, some of the places I've been to, and just wanted to share some stories. And that's the reason. That's the impetus behind this book here.
Wonderful, wonderful. And your book, I read it, it had so much in there. It dealt with the 50s, it dealt with
Right.
aging parents.
Yeah.
It had so much material in it for a memoir. You shared a lot.
Yeah.
Really
Well,
such a tell-all type of book.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I look at the book from four perspectives. One, it's a story about growing up in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Secondly, it's about how long it takes for someone to grow up. I talk about my dating adventures. I talk about my employment adventures. I talk about my political adventures. And so that's the second part. Third part, it's about aging parents. It's about dealing with parents whose physical and mental abilities are declining. My father first, and then 30 years later, my mother,
Wow.
and how how an aging adolescent, an aging adult deals with aging parents. And
Yes.
finally, the main story in the book, it's a meditation on friendship. That was the hardest part of the book to write.
Hmm.
It's a meditation on the evolution and then the dissolution of a 50-year friendship and how this friendship, the dissolution was caused by a foolish misunderstanding that could have easily been resolved if either party had been mature enough or
Hmm.
intelligent enough to break the ice. Um, so really, when you come right down to it, the book is not so much about getting to a destination. The book is about the journey to get there.
The journey
And
together. Yes.
we've always been taught that the journey is the most important part. You know,
What are your current projects or what have you accomplished thus far?
well, as I said, the current project was my memoir. Um, I wrote a book 10 years, 11 years ago called Running for Dad. This is the book about my political adventures. Um, 204 pages of self-pity and woe is me, which if I had to do it over again, I certainly would approach it differently. Um, in fact, when I sent this to a publisher, he wrote back that it was just like let me see, a self-bleeding memoir. It wasn't good at all.
Oh,
So I wrote this back in 2014. I made a grand total of $16.74 in sales on this book.
oh,
So, and
sorry.
I talk about this book in my book here.
Yeah.
Uh, have a lot of unfinished projects, and basically that's what I've accomplished so far. Haven't done too badly. A lot of people have never written anything. So regardless of how they are, regardless of how professional or amateurish they are, I did it. I've done it, and I have no regrets really about these. I would have done this one differently. I would have written it a little more objectively.
You can
But
redo it if you want.
yeah, but
Yeah.
you know what though, it is what it is. And if nothing else, it's something that my friends who knew me and my parents, they'll understand. When I ran for mayor back in 1985, my father died in the same year. So this book is sort of like two parallel stories about a young man chasing his dream and a father on his way out watching his son trying to achieve his dream.
Wow. That's
And
powerful stuff.
and the story's kind of like they come together. That's why it's an important book for me. And you know what? It is what it is. And I would have done it differently, but the message is still the same. So,
You know what? Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I hope I
right.
get to read it and let's see what I think.
All right.
You never
Okay.
know.
Never know.
You never know.
Like
People
Fats
like it,
Waller
some
said,
people don't like it.
one
Different
never
opinions.
one never knows. Do one. Fats Waller said that.
There you go. So
Anyway,
what made your upbringing in the 1950s and 1960s particularly special?
okay. Well, you know what? I was thinking about this, and it's kind of a cliche, but it's just the way I feel. It was, quote, a more innocent time. I think the rules were more clearly defined back then. Things were more black and white back then, not so much gray.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think it was a friendlier time back then. Uh, Maybe I'm being naive, or maybe I have rose-colored glasses, but I think it was a friendlier time back then. I remember when I ran for office, I had disagreements with the other candidates. But you know what? After the campaign was over, uh, we went back to like normal, like nothing ever changed. Nowadays, it seems that people get too upset, and friendships are lost because people can't disagree with each other. Or, well, I'm getting on a soapbox now. The other reason why it was special is because you could do things and not have the thought police or the politically correct police looking over your shoulder. Now, some people might not agree with me with that. That's your opinion, but that's how I feel. The other thing is that socially, uh, whatever, we connected face to face. We connected live. We connected with people. We
Yes.
didn't have the buttons to push to connect. You wanted to get a date. You wanted to go to a bar. You went.
Yes.
You did it face to face.
Yes.
Right. And sometimes it worked out, sometimes it didn't. But you were experiencing it live. You know, we don't have that now. We don't have that anymore. And again, maybe I'm looking at it too nostalgically, but you know what? That's how I feel.
I
That's
agree.
what made it special.
I agree with you because take the kids nowadays, it's much harder for them to connect.
Right.
They don't do the face to face. It's terrible. It really is. I mean, I'm from a different generation. I was a teen in the 80s. What a different planet. I met my husband at a college party,
Yeah.
face to face.
Yeah.
All my friends were always face to face, anything. Now it's just hit this button, hit that button, swipe this, swipe that. What's going
Exactly.
on?
Exactly.
Do a little
Exactly.
face to face, you're better off. Or even when the kids were out playing, go outside, you play.
Yeah.
Now it's video games, this, it's too much. You know,
Well,
happy
yeah.
medium, a little
Yeah.
happy medium. I love the internet. It's great. Connecting is fantastic, but you need a happy medium, a little face to face
No,
and a little of the internet.
you need balance. That's the
Yeah,
word, right? Balance.
balance. That's right.
You
Definitely.
need balance.
Definitely. Now, did we go over what constitutes your writing process?
Well, writing is a very solitary occupation. So I would try to steal time whenever I could. Now, you know, my wife was very patient in allowing me time during the day to kind of steal off into my office and write for several hours. Um, and I was able to go there at night and just kind of write. But other people, friends, family, they tend to be pushed aside, not willingly, but you know, there again, you have to balance. I mean, look, if I was a successful novelist, I could say I'm going to do 8 hours a day writing, and that's what I do for a living. But I had a balance prior to my retirement. I had a balance a full-time job,
Wow.
other extracurricular activities, uh, family responsibilities. So I wrote whenever I could. Sometimes I'd be up till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning on the computer, you know.
Yeah, sure.
Um,
It's not easy. I know it's a
some,
balancing act. Yeah.
sometimes on a slow day at the office, I'd have a pad on my desk and I'd write things down on the pad.
I still do that.
Yeah,
I still
yeah,
use the pen and paper.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
definitely.
So it was really
Yeah.
trying just to find enough, to steal enough time to do it, you know.
Yes.
And what else did I put down
What
here?
are some of your favorite authors? Who are they? Who are some of
Well,
your favorite authors?
well, I never was much for fiction, but I do enjoy Jack Kerouac,
Hmm.
J.D. Salinger.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, I'm not a big fan of fantasy literature. Again, that's okay for some people. It's not my thing. However, you might see it in the background. I'm a big fan of J.R.R. Tolkien, and I have
Oh,
my
wow.
Hobbit and Middle Earth posters in the back over there.
Wow, that's nice. Yeah.
So Tolkien. I
Okay.
do read I do read a lot of history and political books. I
Yeah.
had a goal last year, which I was able to finish. I read all 4 volumes of Robert Caro's Years of Lyndon Johnson,
Wow.
and I'm hoping that he gets the chance to finish his fifth. He's 90 years old now. He's been working on the last volume for maybe 10 plus years. Um, I hope he gets to finish it. But I read all the Lyndon Johnson books last year. I like Doris Kearns too. Doris Kearns Goodwin.
Hmm.
Uh, Saw her give a lecture last year at the college in Madison. I can't think of the name of it. Ah, I like her books though. I like her writing also.
Hmm. Interesting.
And Barbara Tuchman also. I don't know how many people remember who she is, but Barbara Tuchman, historian. I
Hmm.
like her books also.
Why do you identify as an analog man living in a digital world?
All right, good
Right
question.
by Christian Haggeseth the fourth.
Good, good question. Because, as I said in my book here, I'm a dinosaur, and I'm proud of it. I'd like to read, if I could, a couple of sentences from Haggeseth's book. His
Okay.
book is called A Two Moon Journal.
Okay.
Okay, and I'd like to just read something here because this expresses it much better than I could. All
Okay.
right. I am an analog man living in a digital world. My work is meaningful and important, but it alone failed to express my passion for life. I live by schedules, guided by impersonal technical devices that torment rather than assuage my harried soul. I want to live out my natural analogness. I want to throw away my watch, tear up my calendar, and destroy my phone in a blazing ritual sacrifice.
Hmm.
Now, this book was written back in 1991.
Wow.
So imagine how prescient he was and how this fits 34 years later.
That's
You
amazing.
know?
Wow.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Um, Technology is not my friend.
Wow.
I have issues with Facebook and Direct TV and VCRs and everything.
Oh my.
I was chided for a long time because I never got rid of my flip phone,
Oh my. Really? I couldn't wait to get rid
which
of
I have, I have a cell phone now,
Yeah.
but you know what though? I don't need to be connected 24/7,
Right.
right?
Right.
I don't need to know that some person I don't know is having a ham sandwich in Oakland, California, you know,
I don't need to
which,
know that either.
which they'll post on Facebook.
I know.
I don't need to know that, right? Um, Again, it's a way just to strive for balance. Some technology is fantastic,
Oh
all
yes.
right, but a
Yes.
lot of it is just useless, and it clouds the mind, I think.
Hmm.
Um, and you know what? Go out to dinner, right? Nice dinner. First thing you see, someone takes a cell phone, plops it on the table. I've had people, professional people, at meetings, eating with me, and in the middle of a bite, pick up the phone, talk. All right.
No, I never do that. No,
I
not good.
I don't want that,
No.
you know, and if that's what I have to do to be connected, I don't want to be connected,
Mm.
you know.
It's again all about balance.
It's about
Balance.
balance.
Balance. A
Yeah.
little of this, a little of that. You go out to eat dinner. Please, no cell phones. It's ridiculous.
Exactly.
Put mine away.
Exactly.
You want to have the
Exactly.
one-on-one, the one-on-one, you know?
Exactly. It's
But
the it, it's the connection, but it's the personal connection.
yes, definitely. Oh my
You
God.
got to connect.
I
You
have a
have to
whole
connect
Zoom
with
about
people.
that too.
You got to connect with people, Sylvia. You
That's,
got-
I mean, me, I connect with people both ways, through the internet
yeah.
or in person.
Right.
Just the both worlds and balance.
Right. Balance.
Where can we purchase your book and where can we reach you? We have a couple
Okay.
more questions, but
Um,
I want to get that in, you know?
the book is on Amazon. It's also on a site called BookBaby. That's what I published through uh, BookBaby. And I don't want to give my email or phone number over here, but if anybody wants to reach me, um, let them go through you if you wouldn't mind that,
No.
and then you can reach out to me. But yeah, that's the best way. Or go on the net and just punch my name in there and see what comes up, and you can order it. But Amazon and BookBaby are the two sites.
Right. That's what we want to know, where we can purchase your book. That's the
Yeah,
most important. Yeah,
Amazon and BookBaby.
absolutely. You have anything in the works? Tell me you're writing something else, please.
Yeah, well, I'm not writing anything new, um, but I tell you, I have a screenplay here. All right.
Oh,
Now, I wrote this a couple years ago. It's a screenplay. I sent it to a number of screenplay contests, and I have a lot of judges' responses telling me it's too talky and too verbose, and it doesn't sell. It doesn't have it. It doesn't have a hook to grab people. But it's a screenplay about um, my mother, who spent the last several years of her life in an assisted living facility. Well, here, I'll just read the summary.
okay. That'd be great.
As he prepares
Mhm.
for his mother's passing from Alzheimer's,
Mm.
65-year-old single retiree begins to assess his own life and, via flashbacks and fantasies, struggles at Christmas time to get his own house in order.
Huh.
Now, it sounds like a downer, but I'll say one thing. What is the message of A Christmas Carol? What happens at the end? The message of The Christmas Carol is what? Redemption. Scrooge goes through his life denigrating people, denigrating the holidays. At the very end, he finds redemption. All right, and turns into a balanced, caring person. This is about a fella who is trying to put his own life in order while dealing with the mental and physical decline of his aging mother.
Huh.
But what happens at the end, I'll just say redemption. It's a
Redemption.
very positive ending. So listen, if anyone watching this video knows any uh, producers or writers or screenplay, people who want to purchase screenplays, take a flyer, let me know because there's no wizards, there's no dragons, there's no demons, there's no car chases, there's no gratuitous sex, there's no uh, uh, flatulence jokes. It's a story about the human condition, and it's worth a shot. All right, so it's out there. It's called Christmas Eve, and the reason why it's called that you'll find out in the book, in the screenplay itself. So this is what I'm working on. It's not a new work, but I'm submitting it to screenplay contests.
Ooh.
Uh, I'm trying to get someone to at least take a flyer on it
Huh.
and see what happens. So that's my project. I'm not starting any new projects because I don't know. I don't want to start anything right now. I want to try to finish some things. You
Hmm.
know, that's what I want to do.
Now, your
And
screenplay, was it in book form first, or you just put it into a screenplay just like that?
it's I bought the final draft, which is a screenplay. It's a program to screenplay formatting, a formatting program, and I wrote it with that. I
Huh.
registered it with the Writers Guild, so it's been registered.
Huh.
And I'd like someone to take a flyer on it. you know. See, here's the thing.
Huh.
Tell me something's good. Tell me something's bad. I don't care. Just tell me something,
Tell you
you know.
something. Yeah, yeah.
Don't leave me hanging, you
Hmm.
know. If you
Yeah.
like what I do, fantastic. You don't like what I do, fine. That's your privilege. But
Interesting.
at least have the professional courtesy to give an opinion,
Sure. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that was a shameless display of a request to someone read what I wrote.
Interesting. So I read screenplays. If you ever want to send it to me, if you're comfortable, I can read it. Maybe
Well,
I can
I thought
recommend a couple
I,
of a site or
I,
two where you can put it, not the screenplay up, but maybe
I thought
where
about
you
that.
can go on this site where maybe you can submit it to someone on the site that
Yeah,
maybe can help you, possibly. But I
yeah,
can do recommendation, you know.
yeah. I thought about that. You know, I'm not asking for a handout. I just want a chance. You know,
Hmm.
it's the same with the book here. I just entered a contest for self-published authors, um, the Writer's Digest contest for self-published authors, and I sent them a hard copy of the book, and I'll know in I'll know in October whether it won anything or not. But you know, I'm still trying. I'm still trying.
Good luck. That's
Because
nice.
the minute you stop trying, it's over. Like
Yeah.
I said in the book here, at the end of the book, um, I'm still a work in progress, and I'm going to be a work in progress till I take my last breath.
That's
And
it.
that's the challenge. Anyone out there who thinks that they're a complete person, there's always room and time to grow, whether it's learning a language or writing a book or learning how to swim or learning how to paint. Life is a continual life is a continuous journey.
Yes. On that note, we're running out of time, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming on this show very much. Charles Vanyo, hold up your book again. We want to see
Okay?
it. It
How
is
did I get here
called
so
How Did I Get
fast?
Here So Fast? How Did I Get Here So Fast by Charles Vanyo. Ladies
Yes.
and gentlemen, where do we buy that book? Amazon, Book Baby. It's a great memoir, has a lot in it. We discuss what's in it. What's in it again?
It's just growing up and making choices and dealing with the choices you make or didn't make.
There you go. So, everybody, thank you so much, Charles, for coming on our
And
show.
Sylvia, thank you for having me on and for all your encouragement and your work, and I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, like, comment, subscribe to the channel, please, and share. Take care, everyone, and good night. Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank
Good night.
you. Good night.